Crossout is taking the next step and invites the players to become pilots of their own battle walkers. Assemble your walking war machine and tear your enemies to pieces. This update features the new season with robotic legs and other parts, the Next Step game mode, your favorite brawls, the new map for the Bedlam mode, balance changes, and many other new features. Flamingo, robotic leg. Rarity, special. PS 400. Maximum speed, 80 kilometers per hour. Tonnage, plus 4,310 kilograms. Cabin power, minus 40%, 15% blast damage resistance, 20% ram damage resistance, and 30% melee damage resistance. Durability, 1,200 points. Mass, 1,400 kilograms. Tengu light robotic leg. Rarity, epic. PS 800. Maximum speed, 90 kilometers per hour. Tonnage, plus 4,700 kilograms. Cabin power, minus 25%. 10% blast damage resistance, 30% ram damage resistance, and 20% melee damage resistance. Durability, 1,070 points. Mass, 1,120 kilograms. Perk, when activated, performs a short and fast dash in the direction of the armored car's movement. Cooldown, 4 seconds. If the armored car makes contact with an enemy, the ability is blocked for 2 seconds. RLM Dino heavy robotic leg. Rarity, epic. PS 1000. Maximum speed, 70 kilometers per hour. Tonnage, plus 6,800 kilograms. Cabin power, minus 50%. 25% blast damage resistance, 20% ram damage resistance, and 20% melee damage resistance. Durability, 1,550 points. Mass, 1,750 kilograms. Perk, can be used to fly for a short time. The delay before cooldown is 4 seconds. Swarm rocket launcher. Rarity, legendary. PS 2200. Fires fast and maneuverable rockets that home in on an area, fly on a plunging trajectory, and explode on hit. The volley launches 24 rockets. Radar increases the range of fire. Ammo reserve, 14 volleys. Durability, 331 points. Energy drain, 11 points. Mass, 265 kilograms. Perk, for each rocket from a volley that hits an enemy, the damage of the next volley increases by 2.5%, and its reload speed increases by 3.5%. Maximum effect is achieved when 8 rockets successfully hit the target. Jackie module with power nodes. Rarity, legendary. PS 600. Explodes and deals damage when destroyed. Durability, 303 points. Energy drain, 3 points. Mass, 264 kilograms. Perk, improves the parameters of parts attached to the power nodes depending on the type. Weapons, plus 20% to damage. Cabins, plus 7% to maximum speed. Engines, plus 20% to the power of the armored car. Slaughterer grenade launcher. Rarity, legendary. PS 2400. Fires slow projectiles that fly on a ballistic trajectory. On hit, the projectile splits into 6 fragments that explode within a small area. When the firing button is held down, the projectile will not split on impact and will have hit damage. The ability to penetrate enemy parts as well as increased accuracy and effective range. Ammo reserve, 16 pieces. Durability, 525 points. Energy drain, 12 points. Mass, 720 kilograms. Perk, for every 2 enemy parts hit by the explosion, the damage of the next shot increases by 4%. The maximum bonus is 32%. BWC Warrior Cabin. Rarity, legendary. Medium cabin. PS 2100. Maximum speed, 70 kilometers per hour. Tonnage, 7,000 kusisata kilogramma. Mass limit, 16,000 kilograms. Energy supply, 24 points. Durability, 450 points. Mass, 2,850 kilograms. Perk. Mode 1 increases the maximum speed of the cabin by 10% and its power by 20%. Bonus damage for Mode 2 accumulates during movement up to 10% after traveling more than 400 meters. Mode 2 increases the damage of all weapons by 10%. Dealing damage accumulates additional bonuses to maximum speed and power for Mode 1 up to 10% and 20% respectively. The higher the rarity of the weapons, the more damage you need to deal to accumulate the bonuses. Additional bonuses stay active for 10 seconds after switching to the corresponding mode. Structural parts. General information. There are 75 main levels with rewards in the season. Leveling up in the event will unlock new rewards. Starting from level 76, the player can unlock bonus rewards of additional levels of the reward scale. During the season, the player receives a special resource, bearings. A player can exchange a certain amount of accumulated bearings without additional expenses for a part from the list of available parts or for other available items. After reaching level 122 of the season, the player receives 15 bearings for each subsequent level if the Battle Pass is purchased. At the end of the season, all unused bearings will be withdrawn from the game. All players without exception can unlock recipes for the production of new parts and their upgraded versions during the season. 150 pieces of bearings, 100 in-game coins, a logo for banner customization, new structural parts, resource containers, engineer badges, one container with epic parts of your choice for the additional levels of the reward scale. Players who have purchased the Battle Pass may receive the following: an armored vehicle with the new special robotic legs, ready for battle. New, crafted and upgraded parts. Please note that such parts are issued with certain upgrades and cannot be sold or bought at the market. New garage scavengers camp. 2 new portraits. Additional in-game coins. 1 container with special parts of your choice for an additional level of the reward scale. Cosmetic items, paints, stickers, decor. 1 storage expansion and 1 blueprint storage. Additional bearings, both for the levels of the main scale and for additional levels of the season. New elements for banner customization. Rewards marked with a lock icon are only available with the Battle Pass. Parts that you didn't have time to unlock can be purchased at the in-game market from other players. Season Level Up. You can increase your level in the season by completing special daily and weekly challenges. At the end of the day, all uncompleted daily challenges are reset and replaced with new ones. Every Thursday, after the list of challenges is updated, all uncompleted weekly challenges are carried over to the next week. Weekly challenges of the season are divided into main and additional groups. At one time, 4 main and 2 additional challenges are issued. Try not to miss challenges to unlock all available rewards as soon as possible. When the event level is increased, the reward is issued automatically. You can still complete the regular daily and weekly challenges to gain badges and other resources. The new Next Step game mode with armored aircraft and battle walkers. All main PvP missions that previously allowed the use of armored aircraft have been replaced by next step modes, and now allow the use of battle walkers with robotic legs. The modes can be accessed by combat vehicles with the new robotic legs, armored aircraft, and armored cars. All next step modes have respawns. The team that first accumulates 15 victory points wins. Victory points are earned by destroying the enemies and picking up capsules that they drop. Allies may pick up the capsule left by a destroyed teammate before the opponents do, so that it does not add victory points to the enemy team. The mode has a number of modifiers for different types of armored vehicles. All armored vehicles, increased weapon damage, increased ammo reserve for weapons, and fuel reserve for boosters. All armored cars without robotic legs or rotors, increased power, improved surface traction. Armored vehicles with hovers and mechanical legs, not the new robotic legs. Increased maximum speed. For the Emperor, Brawl attention! The Brawl will be available from September 19th to September 25th inclusive. For the Emperor is a team PvP Brawl. Players take part in the battles on preset vehicles. Specially for the Next Step season, we have updated the preset cars' blueprints. Now, all kinds of movement parts will be used in the mode, except rotors. The reward for the battles of the mode is scrap metal. Special challenges and rewards. Day 1. Destroy or help destroy 5 enemies in the For the Emperor Brawl. Reward: 2 paratroopers containers. Day 2. Destroy 50 parts in the For the Emperor Brawl. Reward: 80 engineer badges. Day 3. Complete 3 battles in the For the Emperor Brawl. Reward: humanitarian aid container. Day 4. Destroy or help destroy 5 enemies in the For the Emperor Brawl. Reward: 2 paratroopers containers. Day 5. Earn 1,000 points in the For the Emperor Brawl. Reward: 1 blueprint storage. Day 6. Complete 3 battles in the For the Emperor Brawl. Reward: humanitarian aid container. Day 7. Deal 10,000 damage in the For the Emperor Brawl. Reward: CK container. Upgraded parts workbench. During For the Emperor Brawl, you will also have access to a special workbench with a rich assortment of parts with predetermined upgrades. Don't miss out on the many popular parts with the most efficient upgrades to greatly improve your gameplay. Attention! Not all recipes will be available at once. The list will be renewed daily up to and including September 22nd. Firefight Brawl. Attention! The Brawl will be available from September 26th, 0600 GMT to October 2nd inclusive. Team Brawl. Players take part in the battle on preset vehicles. If a team destroys the opposing team before the time runs out, they win. Otherwise, it's a draw. Each player is issued an armored vehicle on hovers, which has a number of weak points, as well as a number of places that are completely invulnerable. We improved the dynamic of the mode and made a number of changes, including increased speed and power of armored cars, as well as a significant reduction in weapon reloading time. In order to destroy the enemy, you must accurately aim for their weak points and manage to keep your own weak points out of the line of fire. The reward for the battles of the mode is wires. Special challenges and rewards. Day 1. Destroy or help destroy 1 enemy in the Firefight Brawl. Reward: Sniper Sticker. Day 2. Complete 2 battles in the Firefight Brawl. Reward: 80 Engineer Badges. Day 3. Deal 2,500 damage in the Firefight Brawl. Reward: Military Reserve Container. Day 4. Destroy or help destroy 2 enemies in the Firefight Brawl. Reward: Lemon Smoke Paint. Day 5. Earn 450 points in the Firefight Brawl. Reward: Military Reserve Container. Day 6. Complete 2 battles in the Firefight Brawl. Reward: 80 Engineer Badges. Day 7. Destroy or help destroy 4 enemies in the firefight brawl. Reward: Horns Decor. Enemy in Reflection Brawl. Attention! The brawl will be available from October 3rd, 0600 GMT to October 9th inclusive. The Enemy in Reflection is a team PvP brawl with preset vehicles, which continues the traditions of the Spring Mayhem and Confrontation. Battles take place on preset armored vehicles of the Brotherhood or the Ravagers. At the beginning of each battle, you can choose the desired armored car. If you do not have time to choose a car in the allotted time, the blueprint is randomly selected. There is a choice of 5 blueprints with different weapons, movement parts, and, accordingly, roles. Scout, high-speed and lightly armored APC with a radar detector. No radar or radio is installed on other vehicles. Tank, offensive armored combat vehicle. Anti-aircraft gun. A good option for battles at medium and long distances, vulnerable to flank attacks. Good counter to armored aircraft. Bomber. Rocket APC with high damage and light armor. Armored aircraft. Aerial fire support. Vulnerable to precision anti-aircraft fire. The same blueprint can be selected at the same time by no more than 3 players. Your objective in the battle: fill the point scale earlier than the opposing team or score more points before the time runs out. Points are awarded for the destruction of opponents and for assists. A team is awarded a win if it scores 50 points and outscores the opponent's team by at least 5 points. If the battle time is over, but the gap of 5 points between the teams is not reached, then the teams are given additional time. At the end of the additional time, the victory is awarded to the team that has more points at that moment. If at the end of the additional time the team scored the same number of points, the battle ends in a draw. For the destruction of opponents, the team is awarded points according to the formula 1 plus the number of bases captured at the time of destruction. You can always check how many points your team will get for the opponent's destruction at the moment by looking at the number of filled diamonds under the team points counter. Leaderboard attention. Quitting the battle before its completion is considered a defeat and leads to a loss of rating points, as in case of a defeat. If the player has not scored the minimum number of activity points in the mode, 40, it is also considered a defeat. For moving up the leaderboard and moving to the next league, you will get rewards. Iron, Starting League, no rewards. Steel, 2, Elite Fighter stickers and tank pipe decor. Bronze, Quagmire paint. Silver, Bucket decor. Gold, Quackstein decor. Legend, 1 to 3 places. 2, Legendary Merchant cases. 4 to 10 places. 1, Legendary Merchant case. 11 to 50 places. 2, Epic Merchant cases. 51 to 500 places. 1, Epic Merchant case. Special challenges and rewards. Day 1. Destroy 250 parts in the Enemy in Reflection brawl. Reward: Paratroopers container. Day 2. Complete 2 battles in the Enemy in Reflection brawl. Reward: 50 engineer badges. Day 3. Deal 12,000 damage in the Enemy in Reflection brawl. Reward: Military Reserve container. Day 4. Earn 2,500 points in the Enemy in Reflection brawl. Reward: 80 engineer badges. Day 5. Destroy 250 parts in the Enemy in Reflection brawl. Reward: Paratroopers container. Day 6. Deal 20,000 damage in the Enemy in Reflection brawl. Reward: Humanitarian aid container. Day 7. Destroy or help destroy 12 enemies in the Enemy in Reflection brawl. Reward: 20 in-game coins. Kaiju brawl. Attention! The brawl will be available from October 10th, 0600 GMT to October 16th, inclusive. Kaiju is a PvP brawl in the free-for-all format. The player who destroyed the most enemies wins. Each player fights on a preset armored car equipped with the weapon Kaiju. The reward for the battles of the mode is scrap metal. Special challenges and rewards. Day 1. Earn 2,000 points in the Kaiju Brawl. Reward: Engineer's Container. Day 2. Complete 2 battles in the Kaiju Brawl. Reward: 50 Engineer Badges. Day 3. Earn 2,000 points in the Kaiju Brawl. Reward: Engineer's Container. Day 4. Deal 8,000 damage in the Kaiju Brawl. Reward: 5 Repair Kits. Day 5. Complete 2 battles in the Kaiju Brawl. Reward: 50 Engineer Badges. Day 6. Earn 2,000 points in the Kaiju Brawl. Reward: Engineer's Container. Day 7. Destroy or help destroy 15 enemies in the Kaiju Brawl. Reward: 2 rare upgrade stabilizers. New map: Way to the Top for the Bedlam mode. Only the most daring can get to the top of this anomaly. Challenge your armored car driving skills, stock up on good luck charms, and try to conquer the way to the top. Structural parts: reduced damage resistances. Engineers: bullet damage from 20% to 15%. Blast damage from 20% to 15%. Nomads bullet damage from 30% to 20%. Syndicate bullet damage from 30% to 25%. Hyperborea bullet damage from 35% to 30%. Founders bullet damage from 20% to 15%. Blast damage from 20% to 15%. Scavengers bullet damage from 15% to 10%. Blast damage from 35% to 25%. Steppenwolf's bullet damage from 15% to 10%. Blast damage from 35% to 25%. Comment: the latest increase of damage resistances turned out to be excessive, since heavy parts became more advantageous than the light ones to the extent that was not originally intended. Lowering the values of resistances to the most popular damage types should correct the situation. Ram damage, base ram damage increased by 10%. Reduce the bonus to ram damage for bumpers, passive melee weapons, goblin, gremlin, and Draco. Remove the bonus completely for Bastion. Comment: currently, the difference between dealing ram damage with a regular part and a part that has a ram damage bonus is too great. Ramming an enemy with a regular part does significantly less damage than ramming with a part with the bonus. The change levels out the difference and reduces the maximum possible damage. Tempest rate of fire increased by 15%. Heating rate reduced by 20%. As a result of the above changes, the time to overheat increased by 9%. Comment: low efficiency of the autocannon. Increasing the time to overheat will allow players to fire longer and deal more damage. Prosecutor 76mm projectile speed increased by 18%. Penetration ability increased from 25 to 50%. Comment: low efficiency of the weapon. The change will help to deal damage with it more efficiently. Carapace perks bonus to weapons reload speed increased from 30 to 40%. Perks active time increased from 6 to 8 seconds. Comment: unpopular and inefficient cabin in comparison with other available options. Clarinet Tau added a perk that increases damage depending on the modules installed, similar to Yongwang. Energy drain increased from 10 to 20 units. PS increased from 1350 to 2700. Added 150 points to damage upon hit and 100% penetration ability. Reloading time increased from 7 to 10 seconds. Control of the vehicle now returns to the player in the second phase of the rocket's flight, when the rocket is launched into unguided flight. The time before you can transition from the first phase of the rocket's flight to the second phase is reduced from 1 to 0.3 seconds. Sped up the return of control of the vehicle after the rocket has detonated. Comment: a weak weapon with a unique mechanic. The parameters change, and adding the perk should prevent the weapon from having inflated efficiency at low PS as it was before, but make it more relevant at medium and high PS. The rest of the changes were implemented to make gameplay more comfortable. Elephant. The projectile now deals cryogenic damage upon detonation and freezes parts by 25%. The radius of the projectile's explosion reduced by 30%. Moved the weapon to the cryogenic category. Comment: low efficiency and popularity of the cannon. We decided to update the elephant's mechanic instead of just increasing its parameters, making it a predecessor to narwhal. Due to the freeze mechanic, the elephant will be more efficient in dealing damage and helping allies to do so. Explosion radius has been reduced due to the high efficiency of the freeze mechanic. Thresher energy drain reduced from 12 to 11 points. PS reduced from 1620 to 1485. Comment: low efficiency. Changes will reduce the PS of the vehicle by changing the generator or the option of installing an additional module. Executioner 88mm projectile speed increased by 18%. Penetration ability increased from 30 to 50%. Comment: similar logic to the Prosecutor 76mm changes. AC 64. Joule damage increased by 5%. Rate of fire increased by 16%. Durability increased from 262 to 284 points. Comment: low efficiency of the autocannon. ATGM flute perk changed to hitting the target increases the damage by 14%. The bonus stacks up to 5 times. Each miss reduces the number of accumulated hits. Damage increased by 38%. Comment: in its current form, the weapon is unpopular and difficult to use. A new perk that is not related to projectile flight time should fix this. Yongwang added a mechanic to reduce the number of projectiles in the volley from 5 to 2 if the Yongwang is upside down. Perks bonuses from modules of each rarity are now 1% higher. Durability increased from 465 to 605 points. Comment: the weapon simultaneously shows high efficiency when mounted upside down under the armored car, and low efficiency when mounted conventionally. These changes should correct the situation. Regen damage reduced by 11%. Durability reduced from 1440 to 1281 points. Perks damage and damage protection bonus increased from 7 to 12%. Perk now deactivates 10 seconds after the last hit. Rotation speed reduced by 32%. Comment: with its simplicity of use, the weapon is extremely effective at a wide range of PS and shows high results not only in clan confrontation, but also in clan wars. With these changes, the weapon will become more demanding on the player's skills, while leaving unchanged the maximum possible damage and survivability, with fully accumulated perk. Tachi perk changed to if the direction of the vehicle's movement does not match the direction of Tachi's activation, the length of the damage zone will be significantly increased. Reduce the base damage zone length. It is now equal to the damage zone of Tempera. Active time reduced from 2 to 1.2 seconds. Damage increased by 125%. Comment: too high efficiency at the 7,000 to 9,000 PS range when mounted in the front of the vehicle and played similarly to Tempura. The weapon will now function more like a Tempura of epic rarity when mounted this way, and will not be affected when mounted in other directions, which is in line with the original intent. Jotun. The puddle now reduces power and speed by 20% instead of 33%. Comment: deceleration effect was too strong when combined with the freezing over a large area. Aurora heating rate reduced from 20 to 13% per second. Comment: High efficiency as an auxiliary weapon to miniguns/machine guns due to rapid heating of parts to maximum level. Spectre 2, damage reduced by 3%. Perk's damage bonus reduced from 4 to 3%. Comment: high efficiency at the range of 8,000 to 10,000 PS and in clan confrontation. The machine gun was quite close to its legendary counterpart, the Aspect, in terms of damage dealt per battle. Manitou. The maximum bonus to revolver's reload speed increased from 30 to 50%. Removed the reloading of the perk. Comment: low popularity of the cabin among the players who use revolvers. Echo Perk's bonus to weapon reload speed increased from 50 to 65%. Perk's active time increased from 7 to 10 seconds. Comment: similar logic to the carapace changes. Track's traction significantly increased. Comment: after changing the mechanics of the tracks, there was feedback on their insufficient surface traction. The change should correct this. Goliath. The bonus to durability of attached parts increased from 10 to 25%. Comment: the change encourages building a vehicle with focus on the perk, which is not currently used very often. Gurita Eye durability increased from 410 to 435 points. Tonnage increased from 1,400 to 1,500 kilograms. Slightly increased traction. Comment: partial reversal of recent changes that have reduced Gurita's efficiency beyond expected levels. Meat Grinder. Perk's maximum bonus is now accumulated at 25,000 kilograms mass of the armored car instead of 20,000 kilograms before. Perk's maximum damage bonus increased from 200 to 400%. Added damage protection bonus to the perk equal to 200% at a mass of 25,000 kilograms. The perk now depends on the original mass of the armored vehicle, i.e., it does not reduce with the loss of parts in battle. Durability reduced from 820 to 550 points. Mass reduced from 1,100 to 730 kilograms. Fire and cryogenic damage resistance increased from 25 to 40%. The penalty to cabin power reduced from 28 to 18%. Tonnage increased from 3,100 to 3,600 kilograms. Comment: these changes are aimed to strengthen heavy builds on augers, but weaken relatively light builds at low PS and achieve the following effects. Below 14,000 kilograms mass, auger's survivability will be reduced. Above 14,000 kilograms mass, auger's survivability will be increased. Auger's damage will be increased at any mass above 10,000 kilograms. Reducing the mass, increasing the tonnage and resistances further improve the survivability of vehicles on augers, and reducing the power penalty increases their mobility. Icarus 4. Flight altitude reduced by 1.33 pins. Tonnage reduced from 1,350 to 1,100 kilograms. Icarus 7 flight altitude reduced by 3 pins and is now the same as that of the Icarus 4. Tonnage reduced from 900 to 740 kilograms. Comment on hovers. Hovers are the best choice for using with firearms because of a number of advantages, one of which is the flight altitude of an armored car. Changing the altitude will help ground vehicles destroy parts that are mounted on top of the vehicles with hovers, and will also improve the stability of such vehicles. Changing the tonnage should help make some builds lighter. Bigram speed in legs mode reduced from 55 to 45 kilometers per hour. Traction reduced. Comment: in its current form, the Bigram stands out for its parameters relative to other legs, which may be exacerbated once hovers are weakened. With these changes, it will become the slowest mechanical leg, but will be able to compensate for this with the wheel mode. Changing the traction will slightly weaken its ability to push other vehicles. Athena. The effect of speed on the spread is reduced in half. Comment: Lack of efficiency. The change will simplify the damage dealing and use of the perk and will help Athena to perform well on fast vehicles. Scotty damage increased by 12%. Comment: not enough damage for a frost cannon of legendary rarity. Harvester perk now accumulates in 0.5 seconds of contact instead of 1 second and stacks up to 8 times instead of 7. Durability increased from 662 to 760 points. Comment: low efficiency of the weapon. Kaiju removed negative effects during charging. Damage increased by 8%. Rotation speed increased by 80%. Charged shot can now only be held for 4 seconds. Comment: currently unpopular weapon used only in combination with legs, which are not hindered by its negative effects. The change should fix the situation and make it more efficient when used with other movement parts. Cyclone maximum rate of fire is now achieved in 6 seconds instead of 4 seconds. Comment: high efficiency of the autocannon. This change is due to a recent rebalance that made the rate of fire reset gradually instead of instantaneously. Draco damage reduced by 12%. Fire rate reduced by 6.6%. Overheating speed reduced by 4.3%. As a result of the above changes, the time to overheat increased by 12%. Comment: the damage of this flamethrower is too high for its rarity and is close to the damage of the relic Firebug. The change of fire rate combined with the change of damage reduces the damage per second parameter. The change of overheating speed partly makes up for the changes, reducing the damage dealt before overheating less than damage per second. Yokozuna mass limit reduced from 21,000 to 19,000 kilograms. Power reduced by 9%. Power bonus from the perk reduced from 200% to 135%. Perk active time reduced from 13 to 10 seconds. Comment: after several changes, the cabin has gone from being forgotten to one of the most popular ones. These changes are aimed at reducing the total durability and average mobility of vehicles that use it. Apollo 4 durability increased from 427 to 515 points. Comment: insufficient survivability for a heavy generator in comparison with other generators. Scorpion. The damage reduction rate upon piercing parts reduced by 15%. Comment: the change in damage reduction rate should further strengthen the Scorpion's perk, which is rarely implemented in battles. Porcupine blast damage reduced by 11%. Reload time increased from 3 to 3.5 seconds. Maximum ammo reduced from 16 to 12 pieces. Projectile speed reduced by 10%. Comment: extremely efficient weapon with very high damage and rate of fire, even for a relic rarity. Reducing the maximum ammo will additionally limit the possibility of uncontrollably throwing barrels all over the battlefield. Co-driver Yuki, passive skill, light alloys. Bonus to tonnage increased from 5 to 15%. Comment: the current value of the bonus is too low and has almost no effect on the armored car's parameters. A new main theme of the major update has been recorded and added to the game. Implemented support for the sound space system, which is responsible for processing the spatial sound effects of others, not the players, armored cars, and objects. Updated the implementation of sound zones. Now the shield of the Nova cabin becomes more transparent when the camera is zoomed in with a scope. The painting of the following parts has been improved: carjack, left filter and right filter, blastoff and Hermes, boosters, right phantom fender and left phantom fender, armored track in the CK Snowworm. The camera auto-follows car movement option is temporarily disabled for battlewalkers. Fixed a bug that caused Raijin's damage bonus to not increase blast damage. Fixed the position of certain environment objects at the Old Town location. Fixed a bug that caused the progress of season challenges to be 100% when there were multiple uncompleted challenges. Fixed a bug that caused the indicator for the availability of all components to produce a part to take blocked parts in storage into account. Fixed a bug that caused Yongwang to not shut down when losing a generator and running low on energy. Fixed a bug that caused the Titan wheel perk accumulation effect to not turn off when an armored aircraft rotor was activated. Fixed a bug that sometimes caused the leader icon in the Frontier Defense raid to not be assigned correctly. Fixed a bug that caused the barrel tilt animation of the Devourer minigun to not match the actual tilt angle of the barrels. Fixed a bug that caused a rotor to stop if it was touching the ceiling in the Horsemen of Apocalypse garage. Improved a number of in-game texts and icons. Revert the damn passive melee ram damage nerfs, for fuck's sakes. Still can't believe you reasoned with passive melee parts are doing too much ram damage compared to fucking structurals, so we're evening the ground between them. You can't possibly think we are so stupid to accept such a nonsense reasoning. Edit. Never mind. It seems like people here won't mind that you made 11 parts completely useless. Where the fuck did the downvotes for this come from? Everyone seemed to be against the change during the testing. Don't ask me. I really don't know what to expect from this community or Reddit in general. One day, my rant gets 15 upvotes. The next day, the same comment sits at -5. I just made my meme post about this currently topping this subreddit's feed literally a minute later than this comment. It has almost 30 upvotes by now. They didn't make a second poll for this change, thus the devs simply don't give a single fuck about our feedback regarding this change. A bunch of dev-tuggers don't understand basic mechanics. I hate pointless changes like this when there is so much to be changed. Tons of time wasted that could have been better spent. Balance team needs to cycle faces because this isn't it. Edit to add, their reasoning makes me laugh every time. How about the addition of a literal aimbot in settings claiming to help newcomers? This coming from the same morons that allowed borers to seal club every newcomer for 6 years straight. Wow. I'm sure that was great for player retention. Thanks, Faley, for doing something about the lack of traction for tracks. The mechs with rocket launchers gameplay looks fun. Unfortunately, they ruined the classic modes by introducing the new damage buff module without nerfing Dracos enough. More of the same boring and overplayed Draco builds will be everywhere. I think a solid solution is make the Draco bigger, like 3x3 size, so you can't put them under your cab while using wheels. Just played 5cc battles, and 3 underslung snowfall seems to strip fire dogs in 1 or 2 volley fairly consistently. Just putting it here, hopefully you got the same results. New type of vehicle added, together with a new game mode. Surely the devs have doubled the amount of blueprint slots so that players may enjoy them fully, right? Free the blueprints. Will be open after 5 horse or what now more than an hour. Can we have a fusion event with all the relics? Wait. What do you mean, new map for the Bedlam mode? Why does it feel it's going to be a super massive map like Awakening mode? Is it just me? Or were the only things that had issues shooting at hovers were undermounted weapons? Never seen anyone struggling to shoot me or my weapons off, except for heavy Draco dogs, undermounted Jorms, and the upside-down Yongwang builds, and it's not like it was impossible for them to shoot and kill me. Just harder. Thank you for not changing projectile inertia on Wang Porks and Fortunes. Don't think it's over. Just a matter of time. It didn't even get mentioned. Backlash was hopefully enough for them to drop it. I'm gonna build a Metal Gear. I'm excited as hell. I already build a mech body, just need the legs to see how and if they can attach and tweak it from there. Transformers incoming. Didn't you use to highlight changes from test servers? From memory, I see no inertia changes but pork nerf. Yongwang 1% higher perk. Augur's perk caps at 2.5 tons and doesn't decrease during battle. Threshers get less energy instead, and Yuki tonnage increase. My spiders will have a melee weapon again, D. Some of the weapons I use got nerfed. C. Some of the weapons I use got buffed. D. New event, trying to create a separate player base and challenges. C. Thanks for the unrequested hover change. Nice update, except too little nerf to bricks. P. Problem. Players are fed up with getting rammed by shotgun builds and getting blasted apart while they can't get away from the shotgun build blocking their movement. Targum solution. Reduce shotgun effective range to 18 meters so that the only shotgun players that will remain effective are those that ram the enemies and are the actual problem. Problem. Everyone is fed up by all the face-hugging playstyle builds dominating the game that even the hover players are fed up with this. Targum solution. Make hovers incredibly easier to ram while doing nothing about melee dominance while also nerfing shotguns in a way that will force them into ramming, ensuring further dominance of the facehugger meta. It's also tiresome. So, fuck hovers and porks because we need more firebugs. Got it. Can you revert the nerfs to shotguns, please? Breakers are already at such a disadvantage to machine guns and fire dogs. Just make Hammerfall's model bigger, and the big bricks will go away. They lose to the Draco bricks anyway, and this damage module will only leave the Draco bricks relevant. Or you bring back the wedge mechanic a bit, and both will go away. No inertia changes, good. Augur max bonus requirements dropped from 30,000 kilograms to 25,000. Good. Only Machinist and Cohort would have been able to realistically get 30. I'm skeptical of this being enough, though. The damage protection gets negated by Cyro, just as any other resistances does, and teams will still just leave Augur builds behind, making Eagle mandatory. Prosecutors and 80s should be worth using again. Bigram's, hover, and passive melee nerfs are nonsensical. Passive melee nerf in particular is just dumb. Why is it an issue that a large strut doesn't do as much damage than a flail or hatchet? It's not supposed to. They're called passive melee parts for a reason, and what use will they have now? Draco nerf is a good start, but won't be enough, especially with the new module. Scorp buff is dumb. Their perk was unutilized. Where are the devs getting this information from? People uses Scorp perk to go after frames all the time. They didn't need a buff. Jotun nerf is also ridiculous. It's okay for a support weapon to be able to actually do its job. It's because it slowed bricks down, isn't it? We can't be having anything give the precious W warriors any trouble now, can we? I'm sure this is the reason for the pork nerf as well. They were strong, but not the point of being an issue. For anyone who doesn't just hold W down, porks are not that difficult to avoid. A nerf was not needed. As for the new content, haven't yet tested any of it, and only have vids to go by. But based on that, legs seem fine. I would have preferred more refined walking animation, as they seem to much like War Robots / Mech Arena, but the sliding animation and mechanics seem reasonable enough. The sliding animation reminds me a lot of Zone of the Enders and Armored Core, actually. Swarms looks fun, and I've been wanting a artillery weapon more in the style of Incinerator. I am concerned that this might diminish any reason to use Heather or Mandrake, though. They can fire over buildings while this can't, but this seems overall better for everything else. But since they're technically guided, does that mean Argus works against them? Slaughterer so far looks underwhelming. I was hoping the cluster shot would be more pronounced and more useful, but despite the multiple projectiles, it looks like any other explosive hit, and seems to only be there as a way of stacking the perk for the charged shot. Both modes needs to be equally useful. Jackie looks technically reasonable, but the game could have done without it. Straight up adding a passive plus 20% damage, 7% speed, and 10% engine power for builds that can use all nodes is not doing the game's balance any favors despite the module's limitations. This is particularly a problem for fire bricks. They have to drop Yeti to be able to add the module, but this undoes the previous speed nerfs and negates the Draco nerf. We're going to have 90 plus kilometers per hour, 5 to 6,000 plus horsepower bricks again. This is unacceptable. About the new season. New robotics legs are very good, but the new match seems too much as a brawl. I'd personally enjoy to play robots and helicopters in the Vanya match, objective to control, only one life, etc. That kind of game is more strategic. The new one is too kamikaze style, and no possibility to earn fuel like in other PvP match. Different value for the cabin's power, power of weapons, and so on. Depending of the match is absolutely not a good thing, except if you give free plan slots to players, twice what they have, because now builds can't be played in all matches. Nerf of Bastion cabin is not interesting. Not often played. No interest to remove the ability to make damage with the front of the bulldozer. Nerf of Bigram is not interesting, perhaps in Clan War, but in either match they are not played. Nerf of Hover is not a good idea, nerfed patch after patch. Just traked them if you think their creation was a mistake, and give to player who owned them the choice of another movement part. They were quite well balanced in the previous patch. Nothing to say to the other balance. Need to play more to have an opinion. After some games, I confirmed that I prefer games like For the Emperor with objectives to conquer, only one life, mixing cars, robots, than the new kind of matches with no objectives and infinite respawn. In fact, it would be interesting to play robots, cars, helicos, in the old-style match, objectives. I enjoy to play robots in raids. Buff Heavy Track HPFFS. Will future legs have the same joint layout, or will we be seeing some different legs that resemble how a human leg bends? Your nerf to shotguns, especially breakers, is completely unrealistic. You have been nerfing all shotguns equally for so long, even though they are not all equal, and have made a relic completely unusable in clan battles. A relic gun should not be easily destroyed by legendaries, but that is the case with breakers. For example, you just nerfed Dracos, but you didn't nerf all fire weapons, and your logic was that Dracos shouldn't be as viable as firebugs. So why do you treat shotguns like they are all equal? Your logic is, you want to have shotgun builds be fast builds, so they can get in close and fight close. But no matter how fast the car is, the breakers can be easily stripped in seconds ever since you removed the previous perk. Breakers just can't compete in clan battles, and this is not right. I spent nearly $80,000 in coins on my breakers. Why should someone who spends $10,000 on a few legendaries be able to defeat my weapons so easily? This is unacceptable, and the nerf to breakers needs to be corrects. This is a relic. This is not some cheap weapon, but you've just made it into one. You need to stop treating all shotguns the same. You don't do this with any other weapon category. Fix this. You created this problem when you gave away all the fused hammerfalls during the previous events. You need to correct hammerfalls specifically, not destroy all shotguns. Fix this. Getting my breakers stripped by getting one shot by destructors on hovers is your idea that breakers are too OP? What a joke. Clearly devs have a bias towards shotguns.